Welcome back, listeners, to another exciting episode of Operating Systems Crashcast. I'm Victor, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of client-server communication systems. These systems are fundamental to how computers interact in our modern connected world. Sheila, are you ready to explore this crucial aspect of operating systems?
Absolutely, Victor. Client-server communication is the backbone of many modern computing systems, so this is going to be an important topic for our listeners.
Let's start with the basics. Sheila, can you give our listeners a quick overview of what we mean by client-server systems?
Of course, Victor. In a client-server model, we have two main components: the client, which requests services or resources, and the server, which provides those services or resources. Think of it like a restaurant. The customers are the clients, and the kitchen staff are the servers.
That's a great analogy, Sheila. Now let's talk about how these clients and servers actually communicate. What are some of the main methods used in operating systems?
There are three primary methods of communication in client-server systems: sockets, remote procedure calls, RPC, and pipes. Let's start with sockets. Victor, can you explain what sockets are and how they work?
Certainly. Sockets are like communication endpoints that allow processes to send and receive data. They're often used for network communication, but they can also be used for inter-process communication on the same machine. Think of sockets as phone lines connecting the client and server, allowing them to have a conversation.
That's a great explanation, Victor. Moving on to remote procedure calls, or RPC. This method allows a program to execute a procedure or function on another computer as if it were a local procedure call. It's like asking someone else to do a task for you and then getting the results back.
Exactly, Sheila. And finally, we have pipes, which are a bit different. Pipes are typically used for communication between processes on the same machine. They work like a physical pipe, where data flows from one end to the other in a single direction.
Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about some real-world applications. Victor, can you give our listeners an example of where they might encounter client-server communication in their daily lives?
Absolutely, Sheila. One of the most common examples is web browsing. When you open a website, your browser acts as the client, sending requests to web servers that host the site. The servers then respond with the web page content, which your browser displays. Another great example is email, where your email client communicates with mail servers to send and receive messages.
Those are excellent examples, Victor. It's amazing how much we rely on client-server communication without even realizing it. Now, let's discuss some of the challenges and considerations in implementing these systems. What are some key issues that developers need to keep in mind?
Great question, Sheila. One major consideration is scalability. As the number of clients increases, the server needs to be able to handle the increased load efficiently. Another important factor is security, ensuring that communication between clients and servers is encrypted and protected from unauthorized access.
Absolutely, Victor. And let's not forget about reliability. Systems need to be designed to handle network failures or server downtime without losing critical data or functionality. This often involves implementing things like load balancing and redundancy.
Those are all crucial points, Sheila. As we wrap up, what would you say are the key takeaways for our listeners about client-server communication systems?
I'd say the main points to remember are: first, the client-server model is fundamental to many modern computing systems. Second, there are various methods of communication, including sockets, RPC, and pipes, each with its own strengths. And finally, implementing robust client-server systems requires careful consideration of factors like scalability, security, and reliability.
Excellent summary, Sheila. And that brings us to the end of today's episode on communication in client-server systems. We hope you found this information valuable, especially if you're preparing for interviews or working on distributed systems. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of Operating Systems Crashcast.